Welcome back to Good Day LA. With me now is Lois Lee, the founder of Children of the Night, and also Claudia Lono, one of the principals of Knots Landing. It's nice to have you both here.
Thank you.
What was the genesis? How did it all start?
Well, I was doing research on prostitution for my dissertation, for my doctorate's degree in sociology, and I found kids on the streets of our city. And other prostitutes I'd met would point out that the girl on the corner down the street was only 15 years old. And by 1979, madams and call girls had called me and said that their business was changing, that many customers that they had had were calling and asking them to provide 14-year-old girls for sex. What happened? We don't really know. We know today that 80% of the customers of the teenage prostitutes are Japanese and Arabs. And what we're finding is kids are pressured, there's so much more social pressure for them to grow up so much faster. Many kids are ousted from their homes, and the media certainly makes an issue of children's sexuality.
It's a national problem.
Yes.
It's not just Los Angeles because it's a haven for tourists. And
well, New York and Los Angeles are the two biggest areas, and Hollywood has a unique ability to be able to draw kids where con men actually pose as movie producers and people, as Claudia and I have talked about on several occasions, to entice kids to be actresses.
What is your involvement?
Well, there is a sort of personal interest in it for me because when I was growing up in New York, I had an actor friend who lived in a very odd family situation, who I was taking acting classes with, and he ran away from home a couple of times, and the last time he came to California, and finally I saw him when he was going to go back, and he was very messed up, and I think he had gotten involved in prostitution, but I didn't really know.
You're telling me it's male and female prostitution?
Yes.
Yeah, and he eventually committed suicide after it seemed like everything was going so much better, so this is one of the major reasons that I've got so interested in it, you know, and it's just so admirable how she's done all this stuff.
How many young people do you think are involved in the streets of LA? I mean, we see them as we drive. It's a shame, and I'm sure there are as many off the street plying their trade as there are on the streets.
It's increasing. It's very difficult to tell now because the police have swept the streets and teenage prostitution activity has been forced inside. It's actually going on in garages with no water, no electricity. Yes, there's several garages being used, and there's penthouse apartments that are being used. There's condemned buildings that are being used. Last year, I can tell you, we processed 500 children. This year, in the first 6 months, we processed 844 children, and we're gearing up for a 100% increase for next year because we have the Olympics here in Los Angeles.
So you think there'll be a burgeoning interest in these young American girls by all these people? 625,000 people are reportedly coming here. Many of them are looking for young girls.
Not only that, the pimps are already having war. They're vying for territory among themselves, and so are different outcall services of who's going to dominate the territory. They've set up catchers, and the Greyhound bus depot in San Bernardino is one of the notorious places where kids are shipped right from San Bernardino.
These are kids that have run away from home, have been unhappy,
or kids that are just standing in a shopping mall and a sophisticated pimp approaches them and starts quizzing them about why don't you have your father buy you that dress, and the girl says, well, I don't have a father.
Yeah.
I'll be your daddy.
And the thing that we were talking about too is even kids who grow up here, but especially kids who run away to Hollywood to become, you know, an actress, that this is also another thing. Oh, well, you will become an actress. It's like in the play Runaways, there's a really wonderful...
Only 4 things really sell or motivate anyone: fear, greed, glamour, and sex. Do the kids get threatened if they don't perform?
Oh, yes.
There's life-threatening situations.
The interesting thing I heard that you said is that the pimps use like a middle-class thing, you know, like you have to work hard to be successful, and so pervert the ideas that in essence are good for a bad purpose.
Pimps may say, I'll kill your parents if you try and run away from me, particularly if your parents are elderly.
Yeah.
How does Children of the Night then play itself into this scenario?
We work the underground. We have an investigative component of Children of the Night. We take lots of anonymous complaints. We keep records on pimps. And
Do you bust them? Can you get them busted?
Yes, we worked in some undercover operations. We have lots of cooperation from the police department. The kids tend to be a great resource. Whenever kids are detected by law enforcement, we try and get them to sign complaints against the pimps.
But once a young woman or a young man gets involved and sees the rewards, even though he may or she may get only a small part of what was paid in the transaction, do they want to go back to a normal life, or are they hooked?
No, see, the kids say that what they do, they enjoy what they do because that's what the pimp tells them. if we use all my counselors are ex-prostitutes, so they can say to a kid, yeah, but would he let you in the house last night when it was raining because you only had $300 and you were supposed to bring home $500? So the ex-prostitutes are key to working with these kids.
At the place that I saw, I mean, they have it very set up, and it's very, I mean, all the people that work there are just very nice. They have all these clothes that they give the kids, and legal aid and medical attention, and there's bathroom.
It's
like a...
It's a huge business.
Yes.
Are there huge profits?
Yes, yes, millions of dollars, billions of dollars next year during the Olympics.
What age are we talking about?
10 to 17, and this
Yeah.
year we had our first 8-year-old. So as it's pushed indoors, you're going to see younger and younger kids.
Now, these kids, as you say, can be saved, but prevention is better than cure, is to catch them before the pimp intercepts them. Is that what you do?
Well, you know, what we do is we get the kids after the pimps have them in most cases.
More
you don't
practical.
fight them at the Greyhound bus terminal, say, you
Well,
know.
no, we've done that. Of course we do that. But the point is pimps are catching kids in suburbs. So we don't have people all over the suburbs combing shopping malls looking for kids who are unattached. We put kids in foster homes. We're very successful at getting our kids out of prostitution. But it's hard. There's no place to put these kids. There's no place for them to live. We're literally raising kids on the streets.
This is the reason why they ran away in the first place.
Is it getting better or worse? Are you frustrated?
I'm very frustrated many times, particularly when a child says to me, what I'm doing is not immoral. My customers are attorneys, they're judges, they're movie people, they're directors. How do you rationalize with a child that they shouldn't be doing that it's not the same thing for them as it is for the person that's paying them?
How can we help?
By sending contributions specifically for us to set up a shelter so we can provide at least food and a place for kids to sleep. We don't have any magic wands, but it's sad when a kid comes to Los Angeles and finds that the society doesn't provide them food or shelter, but if they stand on a corner and sell themselves sexually, they can make $40 for a motel room.
Tell me about the fundraiser.
Okay, the fundraiser is going to be at the Improvisation on November 9th.
Which is on Melrose.
On Melrose, right off of Crescent Heights, and it's going to be a 50s sock hop. We're going to have an excellent lineup of comedians.
50s sock hop.
A hip hop is our name. We're going to excellent lineup. Keenan Wayans from Love and Honor on NBC. Elaine Boozler, major comedian. My mother, Joanne Astro. The Funny Boys, who are very young, hip, and Angel and the Reruns, which is a sort of 50s, 60s girl group type thing.
Who are you looking for in terms of the age to go there?
Well, we've looked at our contributors, but we're also looking for people from the ages of 15 to the age of 40.
Yeah.
What's the outlay?
$35 for an individual. And
What do I get for
$50 for two.
What do I get for 35 bucks?
Oh,
Two
God.
drinks, all free entertainment.
You know, you get the feeling also that you're having a good time for a good cause.
And you're contributing to something. This is important
Yeah.
because Claudia's event is really kicking off our massive fundraising drive to provide these kids with a shelter.
I just want to end on one thing. What's the psychology of a pimp? What makes a pimp?
Pimps come from families where their mothers, when they do something wrong, the mothers say to them, how can you do this to me?
Sad story you brought to us. Thank you both very much for joining us. Congratulations on your series.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's it for Good Day LA. We'll see you next week, same time. Thank you for being with us. Hope you enjoyed the program.
Good Day LA is taped at the Century Plaza Hotel in Century City.